Have you ever felt a cold breeze down your spine, even with no storm in sight? That's the chill when someone doesn't just hate you, but quietly sets traps. Not with a gleaming blade, but with toxic whispers in the dark. They don't confront you head on or draw a bow to shoot straight. They sow seeds of doubt, waiting for you to stumble on your path. Picture a forest fire smoldering, just a few thin wisps of smoke curling through the leaves. But if you don't notice, the flames will erupt, burning everything you've built. Or like a vulture circling in a clear sky, its cold eyes tracking your every step, not attacking, just patiently waiting for you to fall. But what if I told you that the moment you stop chasing their bait, you hold the key to flipping the game? This isn't a random game. These schemers operate with razor-sharp calculation, like hunters setting traps in a deep forest, waiting for you to stumble into their snare unaware. They don't just want you to fail, they want you erased, leaving no trace behind. But you have a weapon stronger than any plot. Stillness, a silence that becomes a gust extinguishing their fire before it can blaze. When you refuse to leap into their whirlpool, their plans crumble like a sandcastle before the tide. So, how do you spot these shadows lurking in the dark before they strike? How do you shield your light without being swept into fear or self-doubt? Stay with me, because the final strategy will turn your view of the world upside down. Let's dive in. If you've glimpsed the shadow of a hidden enemy, quietly sowing seeds of doubt like thin smoke before a forest fire, what happens when they step out of the dark not with a blade, but with sharp sarcasm aimed straight at your calm? Picture yourself in a room, all eyes on you, and a voice rises, feigning innocence. Guess Linda's all talk, no real results. The air turns heavy as lead, everyone waiting for you to erupt, argue, or at least falter. This is their cleverest trap, not to spark a debate, but to bait you into painting yourself as erratic or aggressive before the crowd. But what if I told you that the moment you hold back, smile, and move on, you've turned their arrow into a breeze that passes without a trace? Imagine you're a lighthouse in the midnight sea. Waves roar, winds howl, but your light doesn't waver. When someone tries to rile you, they're not after truth or peace. They want you to lose control, to hand them the stick to steer your image. Every emotional retort, every frown is a bullet they'll use to shoot your reputation. But when you choose silence, when you stand firm like a mountain in a storm, you leave them powerless, fumbling in their scheme. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike your enemy." Don't sink to their mire. Self-mastery is a radiant flame, needing no roar but strong enough to make them falter. Listen to the story of Linda. She worked in a team where a colleague constantly lobbed jabs during meetings. Linda's ideas sound nice, but are they realistic? At first, she took the bait. She snapped, called him out in front of the group, and instantly he played the victim. "I didn't expect Linda to be so aggressive." The room tilted in his favor, and Linda realized she'd handed him the weapon she feared most. But then she changed. When provoked, she gave a faint smile, answered briefly, and focused on her work. Her antagonist lost steam out of ammo, and the team began to see his pettiness. A Forbes article once shared about a leader publicly mocked by a colleague to undermine him. He chose not to engage, letting his professionalism speak, and in the end, the attacker humiliated himself before the entire company. So, how do you turn silence into a shield against provocations? First, spot the trap. Each sarcastic jab is a rope, and you don't have to grab it. Second, master your emotions. Take a deep breath. Let indifference sweep away anger like clouds crossing the sky. Finally, let your actions speak. Your steadfastness is a sharper reply than any argument. When you do this, you not only protect your reputation, but send a quiet, ironclad message. You can't drag me down. Your enemies will feel it, not through shouts, but through your unshakable strength. Are you ready to stand steady like a lighthouse amid the storm? If you've stood firm like a lighthouse against provocations, letting calm dissolve the arrows of your enemy's sarcasm, what happens when they shift tactics? No longer attacking from outside, but slipping deeper, targeting the flame of confidence burning within you? Picture this moment. You share a grand dream, your eyes alight with passion, and then a soft but cutting voice rises. Will, are you sure you're up for that? Sounds great, but reality's not so simple. Those words cloaked as concern are like slow drips of water snuffing out your inner glow. Your enemies don't just want you to fail, they want you to doubt yourself, to hesitate at every step, letting their breeze extinguish your ambition. But what if I told you that silence in the face of those doubts, steadfastness to your inner light, is what makes you truly untouchable? Imagine you're a tree in a forest. Though cold winds blow, your branches may sway, but deep roots keep you anchored. When someone sows seeds of doubt, they're not trying to help. They want you to clip your wings, to stand still instead of soaring. Each well-meaning remark like, "Most startups fail, is a stone lobbed at your belief, waiting for you to build a wall between yourself and your dreams. But when you refuse to let their words define you, when you hold your confidence like a firekeeper in the dark, you strip away what they crave most, control over your mind." Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Don't let their doubts become your shackles. Your confidence is a light they can't extinguish." So, how do you turn silence into a flame that guards your confidence? First, spot the sabotage. If words make you doubt yourself more than they inspire, they're not advice, but a knife. Second, trust yourself. Your worth needs no one's stamp, like gold gleaming in the dark. Finally, tune out the negative voices. You don't need approval from those who want you to falter. When you do this, you not only keep your inner flame alive, but send a quiet, razor-sharp message. You can't shake my dreams. Your enemies will feel it, not through arguments, but through the resolve you radiate. Are you ready for your tree to rise tall despite the cold wind? If you've nurtured your flame of confidence, letting it burn bright despite the dripping doubts of enemies, what happens when they stop openly clashing and instead don a mask of friendliness, slipping into your private world? Picture a quiet afternoon. You're sitting with a cup of tea, sharing secret dreams or small worries with someone you think you can trust. They nod, listen, their eyes glinting with empathy, but behind it, there's no understanding, only a deft hand gathering pieces of your soul to forge into weapons. This is the subtle trap of a hidden enemy. They pose as a friend, not to lift you, but to unearth your weaknesses, biding their time for a fatal strike. But what if I told you that selective silence, a discretion like a shield, is how you make them fumble, leaving their hands empty? Imagine you're an oil lamp in the dead of night. Your glow draws every eye, but not all come to bask in your warmth. When enemies play the friend, they don't want to share your joys or sorrows. They want to clutch your secrets like a hunter stashing arrows for the final battle. Each "How have you been?" or "What's your next move?" is a thread they weave, waiting for you to stumble in. But when you hold your discretion, when you share like a sower casting seeds on barren ground, giving only what's needed, you leave them lost in their own game. Epictetus wrote, "Don't reveal everything about yourself to everyone, for not all have good intentions." Caution isn't mistrust. It's how you shield your lamp from nameless winds. Listen to the story of Sophie. She was a young designer, brimming with passion, working in a creative studio. A new colleague, always smiling and attentive, often invited her to lunch, asking about the projects she was nurturing, even her struggles with clients. Sophie thought she'd found a true ally, so she opened up, sharing a unique idea for an upcoming campaign. But weeks later, she was stunned to see her idea pitched in a meeting under her colleague's name. That friendliness was a mask to steal her dreams. Heartbroken, Sophie learned her lesson. She started keeping her plans close, sharing only vague details and focusing on her work. Her rival, with nothing left to exploit, slowly lost influence. A Fast Company article once shared about an employee betrayed by a fake friend fishing for project details. Her caution not only saved her career, but propelled her to the top. So, how do you turn silence into a shield against those posing as friends? First, spot their intent. Over-the-top concern without sincerity is a trap's telltale sign. Second, filter your words. Like a lamp keeper, you choose which light to cast. Finally, guard your soul. No one has a right to your inner world unless they've earned it. When you do this, you not only protect your dreams, but send a quiet, icy message. You can't touch my light. Your enemies will feel it not through words, but through the invisible wall you raise. Are you ready to let your lamp shine only for those who truly value it? If you've raised a shield of discretion, keeping your lamp safe from those pretending to be friends, what happens when they shift tactics, no longer seeking your secrets but aiming straight for your heart, stirring the deepest currents of your emotions? Picture a familiar moment, someone close, with a voice soft but sharp as a thin blade, sighs, "I'm just worried about you, Ethan. You're not yourself lately." Or when you decline a request, they retort, "After all I've done, this is how you treat me." Those words, dressed as care, are like invisible threads, pulling you into a swamp of guilt, fear, and shame. This is the enemy's cunning weapon. They manipulate your feelings not to argue, but to make you doubt your worth, handing them control of your mind. But what if I told you that silence before those threads, a self-mastery like a deep river, is what leaves them powerless, letting you walk free? Imagine you're a still lake. Though winds blow, though stones are thrown, beneath lies an unshakable calm. When enemies manipulate your emotions, they don't want to lift you. They want you to sink, to crave their approval, so every choice you make hinges on their nod. Each "I just want what's best for you" is a stone tossed at your surface, waiting for ripples, waiting for chaos. But when you hold your calm, when you let their words drift by like clouds across the sky, you strip away their greatest power, control over your heart. Epictetus wrote, "He who masters his emotions masters his fate." Don't let them pull the strings. Self-mastery is the breeze that sweeps away every chain, letting you stand firm in yourself. Listen to the story of Ethan. He was a talented freelancer, always helping a friend with shared projects, often at the cost of his own time. But whenever Ethan tried to focus on his own goals, his friend would say, "I didn't think you'd be so selfish. I've always been there for you." Those words stung, making Ethan feel guilty, as if he were betraying their bond. He began to doubt himself, wondering if he was too ambitious, too cold. But then Ethan realized that guilt wasn't natural. It was planted by someone who wanted to hold him back. He started setting boundaries, saying no to unfair demands, and focusing on his path. His friend, left with no way to manipulate, drifted away, leaving Ethan with newfound freedom. A Psychology Today study noted that emotional manipulation often targets self-esteem, but recognizing it and setting boundaries can shatter that control. So, how do you turn silence into a river that washes away manipulation? First, spot the pattern. If someone makes you feel guilty or ashamed for living for yourself, that's not friendship. It's a leash. Second, stop seeking their approval. Your worth doesn't rest in their praise, like a lake needs no wind to shine. Finally, master your emotions. Let each breath be a step out of the mire they've spun. When you do this, you not only shield your heart, but send a quiet, powerful message. You can't control me. Your enemies will feel it, not through arguments, but through the freedom you reclaim. Are you ready to keep your lake still amid the wind? Imagine you're an ancient tree in a deep forest. Though dark clouds gather, though cold winds blow, your deep roots tether you to the earth, to the other trees standing strong beside you. When enemies try to isolate you, they don't just aim to bruise your reputation. They want to sever you from your greatest strength, the people who trust you, who remind you who you are. They whisper half-truths, twist your actions, stir drama where there's none, so friends doubt and colleagues drift. But when you refuse to chase explanations, when you hold your dignity like someone cupping the wind in their hands, you let truth carve its path. Seneca wrote, "Associate only with those who improve you. The ones who truly belong to you will see through the fog. Those who leave were never yours to begin with." Listen to Clara's story. She was a dedicated teacher, beloved by students and colleagues alike. But a jealous co-worker began spreading subtle rumors. Clara seems to like controlling everything. She doesn't care about the team. At first, Clara didn't notice, only sensing that colleagues grew distant. Coffee invitations dwindled. She felt hurt, wanting to confront, to explain, and pull people back. But then she chose a different path. Clara focused on her work, continued treating those who remained with sincerity, and let her actions speak for her. Gradually, people saw through the whispers. They recognized Clara through her dedicated teaching hours, her unwavering smile. The rumor monger, with nothing left to grasp, lost credibility when they repeated their tactics with someone else. An article in the New York Times once told of a social activist who faced similar isolation through rumors spread by a colleague. But her perseverance and sincerity restored trust and even inspired a community. So, how do you turn silence into a wind that breaks down the wall of isolation? First, recognize the tactic. Unusual distance is a sign of whispers behind your back. Second, don't chase after explanations. The truth doesn't beg, just as a tree doesn't plead for sunlight. And finally, hold on to those who are genuine. They are your deep roots, the ones who will see you through the fog. When you do this, you not only protect your circle, but also send a silent yet resonant message. You can't cut me off from the light. They'll feel it, not through tears, but through the resilience you exude. Are you ready for your tree to stand firm in the deep forest? If you stood firm like an ancient tree, with deep roots holding fast to those who are genuine amid the wind of isolation, what happens when an unseen enemy launches a sharper weapon, not aiming at your heart or your circle of friends, but at the very light of the reputation you've carefully built? Picture a peaceful morning. You walk into work, only to notice skeptical glances, whispers behind your back. I heard Henry did something shady. Or, did you know he's not as trustworthy as he seems? Lies, like weeds spreading in the dark, don't just want to hurt you, they aim to strangle your credibility, forcing you to fight to prove what should already be obvious. But what if I told you that silence, the steadfast resolve to let your actions speak louder than words, is the flame that burns bright, melting away every falsehood? Imagine you are a hill standing proudly under the sky. Though dark clouds gather and storms rage, the sunlight still finds its way through. When an enemy spreads lies, they're not seeking truth. They want to unsettle you, to draw you into argument, so that every defense you offer inadvertently makes their lies more vivid. They distort the narrative, exaggerate mistakes, paint a warped version of you, hoping you'll collapse under the weight of public scrutiny. But when you choose to stand still, when you let your integrity flow like water over stone, you let the truth reveal itself. Heraclitus once wrote, "Character is destiny. No lie can dim the light of an upright soul, as long as you're patient, letting time do its work." Listen to Henry's story. He was a project manager respected by colleagues for his dedication and transparency, but a competitive rival in the company, jealous of his success, began sprinkling lies. "Henry's just good at sucking up to the boss. His projects are full of flaws." Those words spread fast, and Henry felt the chill from his team, nods instead of smiles, shorter conversations. He wanted to confront, to call a meeting to clear his name, but then he remembered, truth doesn't need to shout. Henry kept working with the same professionalism, fixing every small error and supporting his colleagues as before. Gradually, people saw that the lies didn't match the person they knew, and the rumor monger, through another lie, lost credibility themselves. An article in Harvard Business Review once told of a CEO falsely accused of abusing power, but his steadfast actions restored trust and exposed the liar. So, how do you turn silence into a flame that melts lies? First, recognize the scheme. Whispers aren't random. They're a sign of weeds growing. Second, let your actions speak. Your integrity is a stronger answer than any argument, like a hill that needs no words to prove its height. And finally, be patient with time. Truth is like water, always finding its way through stone. When you do this, you not only protect your reputation, but also send a silent yet firm message. My light cannot be dimmed. They'll feel it, not through shouts, but through the strength you exude. Are you ready for your hill to shine brightly under the sun? If you've let the hill of your reputation shine bright, with integrity melting lies like sunlight piercing clouds, what happens when the hidden enemy, realizing all their tricks have failed, launches their final blow, not just to make you fail, but to shatter you completely? Picture a moment when everything seems calm, only for a storm to hit from all sides, piled up slanders, sabotaged opportunities, and relentless whispers like ants gnawing at every piece of your soul. This isn't mere jealousy. This is a calculated storm meant to drown you, to make you give up, to ensure you never rise again. But what if I told you that resolute silence, an unyielding stance like a mountain against the wind, is the way to make their storm dissipate on its own, leaving you stronger than ever? Imagine you are a towering mountain in the valley. Though thunder roars and the earth shakes, you stand there, motionless, yet powerful. When the enemy persists, they don't just want you to lose, they want you to surrender, to exhaust yourself, to doubt your worth, and to abandon all your dreams. They spread lies, sabotage your work, sow doubt everywhere, hoping you'll collapse under the weight of despair. But when you refuse to bow, when you hold on to your dignity like someone guarding a flame in a storm, you render every attack of theirs meaningless. Seneca once wrote, "Strength lies in enduring hardship without losing your virtue. It's not about fighting with shouts, but about quiet perseverance, making you the mountain nothing can move." Listen to Maya's story. She was a social activist, pouring her heart into building an organization to support underprivileged children. But a rival in the field, unable to bear the light of her success, launched an unrelenting attack. They spread rumors that Maya was exploiting the organization for personal gain, sabotaged her partnerships, and posted defamatory articles on social media. Maya felt the weight, sleepless nights, self-doubt. Should I keep going? But she chose to stand firm. Instead of arguing, Maya focused on her mission, improving each program and ensuring every donation was transparent. Gradually, the community saw the truth through her work, while her enemy, through too many lies, lost the trust of even those who once supported them. An article in The Atlantic once told of a social entrepreneur who faced similar sabotage through rumors, but her perseverance and transparency helped her prevail, inspiring an entire industry. So, how do you turn silence into an unyielding mountain against the storm? First, recognize the intent. Relentless attacks are a sign of their desperation, not your failure. Second, focus on your path. Like a mountain indifferent to thunder, your energy belongs to your goals, not to arguments. And finally, persevere without giving up. Each step you take proves that they cannot win. When you do this, you not only protect your spirit, but also send a silent yet resounding message. You cannot destroy me. They'll feel it, not through your collapse, but through the invincibility you exude. Are you ready for your mountain to stand firm amid the tempest? If you've stood firm like an unyielding mountain, letting the storm of your enemies dissipate before your resilience, do you realize that this journey isn't just a battle against shadows in the dark, but a path leading you to the strongest version of yourself? From the calm lighthouse against mockery, the steadfast tree holding on to confidence, to the discreet lamp before the pretender, the still lake amid manipulation, the ancient tree amid isolation, and the shining hill melting lies, these 7 strategies have woven an armor of silence, not to shield you from the world, but to let you shine amid the cold winds. This isn't just about making enemies hesitate. It's a gentle wind lifting you higher, letting truth and dignity write the final chapter while you don't even need to hold the pen. Imagine a clear dawn when you wake up with a light heart, no longer pulled by lies or arrows of doubt. You walk like a deep river, needing no roar to prove your strength, but every step makes the earth and sky resonate. Stoic philosophy doesn't promise a world without storms, but it gives you wings to fly through them and feet to stand firm amid them. Each strategy is a precious gem. Self-control against provocation, trust amid doubt, discretion before pretense, stillness amid manipulation, connection through isolation, patience against lies, and resilience against sabotage, all lead you to one truth. True strength doesn't lie in the shouts outside, but in the light you cultivate within. And when you live with that light, you don't just transform yourself, but also ignite a flame of inspiration for those around you, helping them find their path. Think about this. If today you pick one gem, maybe staying silent in the face of a taunt, or walking away from those who sow doubt, what might change in your life? Linda, Will, Sophie, Ethan, Clara, Henry, Maya, each found strength in stillness, turning blades into stepping stones. And now, it's your turn. This isn't the end, but the beginning of an invincible journey, where you master your mind, not with arguments, but with a quiet presence that's impossible to ignore. Take a small step today. Don't react, don't justify, and feel the wind of freedom blowing through your soul. If this journey resonates with you, leave a mark. Hit like to spread the light. Comment with your thoughts to share your feelings. Share this story to inspire others, and subscribe to the channel so we can keep walking together on the Stoic path. The power doesn't lie in me telling this story, but in how you live it. You're not alone. We're weaving this armor of resilience together, moment by moment, day by day. So, where will you start? Take your flame, let it burn bright amid the darkness, and let dignity guide the way. Thank you for joining me. It's your time to shine in your way.